Well, good evening. And it's the 15th of January. It's a Wednesday evening out here in sunny California. Well, the sun's gone down. I should say maybe it's smoky California. But I want to give a warm welcome to all my listeners, to my regular listeners, my family out there. And I'm talking about the family or the members of this room. That's my family. I also have a real life family too. Now, I'm Bob Pace. I'm your host. And here tonight, we are to talk about how to fight CPS and stop them from taking our children. Now, I'm on twice a day. You found me on Facebook, Fight CPS with Bob Pace. I'm glad you found me. And I'm on twice a day, 7 days a week. That's 14 shows a week. I come on at 10 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time for 1 hour. Then again, the evening at 7 p.m. for 1 hour Pacific Standard Time. And the only exception is on Saturday and Sunday, I come on at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. On Saturday, Vincent's got his podcast on that Saturday morning, a live podcast that you can participate in. Now, you just heard his video, and I know something different now. I hear that thing twice a day, every day. I do the podcast. The music's changed. It's now a different tone, which I like. And also, Mr. Davis, his voice is a little bit louder. I can hear him. So I see two improvements on the presentation. And I want to thank Grace, because she's the one that works on it. She's the one that keeps trying to make it better and better. And I'm glad to see Grace back tonight. She had to take some time off to put her dad to rest, and it was sad. I know what it is to lose a father, and she's the second Filipino I heard that has lost a father. She's a remarkable lady. And I've been over there several times, and they're good people, and she works really hard trying to make this podcast possible. So I want to thank her very, very much. And look who came in so fast and already posted 4 messages. Wow. Welcome, Betty. This is Betty, a great woman from Montana. She talked to me this morning a little bit on the phone. She's been in and out of my room all the time. She's a mother and a grandmother. Right now, she's trying to get her brother's child back, her niece. Apparently, the brother and his wife are not together, and the wife was too far gone to salvage anything. So they took the child away in Nebraska, because the brother and the wife left to go to Nebraska to find a better life, but they didn't. And so he's now come back to Montana, and he has a job, so he can take care of his niece. But what is happening is Betty's going to be the temporary guardianship of her niece until her brother is able to maybe be a full-time father there, which I think is great. She's worked out with the courts, and she supposedly has the child being transported by an organization called the CPS. It's a national organization. I may have the acronyms wrong, but its sole purpose is to transport children from one state to another safely. Safely. If a child needs to be transported to another parent, they use that. Also, it's used for a child that may need additional help. Like I know of a child in Georgia that was transported to Texas because they didn't have the facilities for a special need special need child. A lot of facilities don't have special needs, so they have to go out of state. So anyway, Betty's talked about her case. It's coming up pretty quick here. Her case is. Anyway, I would like to welcome Betty, for coming in and talking about your case and making the phone calls. She also is able to talk to Vincent Davis. I have a program on here that I'll tell you in a few minutes that you can talk to Mr. Davis free. I have a program. I'll tell you how to participate in that. But first, I want to identify who I am. Bob Pace is simply a loving man. He loves his kids. He's helped raise 6 children with his wife. He has 41 years of marriage experiences. He has numerous life skills going on. And I may be competing tonight because I noticed my neighbor is playing the Pink Panther on his guitar. I don't know. Every time I get to do my podcast, maybe I talk too loud and it's broadcasting over all the other apartments. They think to drown me out. I don't know. I do have quite a loud voice, and I'll try to speak more softly. Sometimes I get excited. I need to control my emotions. Today was a beautiful day for me because I got a chance to spend it with my young son. Any chance I get is good. Now, I'd like to catch up with Betty, who said already 5 messages. First, Betty said, "Hey, Bob, good evening." Well, I'm glad you said that, Betty. Let me pull that up there. Oh, geez. I thought my computer's fixed. It still's not fixed. Oh, I have okay. I'm doing pretty good here. You know, for somebody that may not know my age, I'm now 75. Yes, I'm a dinosaur. But I'm a young 75, and I still get around okay. And I'm here to help you. Now, Betty says, "Hey, good evening." And I really warmly like that. I love you guys when you give me emojis, you know, smiley faces and hearts, and send me stars. And I already got a heart and a thumbs up. In fact, I got 3 hearts. Wow, that's great. I love that. Brandy's giving me a heart. Philistine, oh, she's from Canada. I had a new guest yesterday, Canada. And Liliani, thank you for the 3 hearts. And then I got 2 thumbs up from Philistine. That's great, you guys. Thank you for the support. Now, Betty further says, "Hey, I had the court hearing today, and the judge was going to place the baby with me until the account attorney mentioned saying that my ICPC is expired." Oh, I knew they'd come up with something like that. And it doesn't expire until March. So now you have to show them the paperwork, the ICPC, and you need to get a 380 motion filed so you can have a hearing right away within 30 days. That's wrong. That how did they know? How did your court-appointed attorney, you put the feet under he should have known, you guys. They're looking for ways to delay it. They always look for ways. CPS is so corrupt. They always want to tear people down. Telling it expired. Jeez. To figure out what I could do, the caseworker got up on the stand and scored on underneath the oath and said it was expired and it's not expired. Well, did your court-appointed attorney ask to see it, or did you guys have a copy of it in the court? I imagine it's in the court documents. It's got to be in the court documents, or the CPS worker is corrupt. They're doing something bad, Betty. You got to be careful. See what Betty further says. The judge was very upset because she brought it up the last minute in the court hearing. Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, wow. If you guys got that thing, you got to show them to them. Nebraska is terminating both parental rights. How so is they're terminating both parental rights? Your son should not have his parental rights. You got to appeal that. I know the mother is going to lose her rights because she's too far gone. Okay, we got somebody here. Brandy, you've been on before. Good evening, Brandy. So glad to hear from you. The only thing I ask you, Brandy, if you could tell me where you're from. I forgot. It's my fault. I should have everybody memorized. But it'd be appreciated if you tell me your city or the county your case was in. Finger red number 1. We'll win this case. I know you will win the case. Got to find the document. And what you can do is you can file what's called a 388 motion. It's a motion to reconvene. And they got to do it within 30 days because March is only 30 days away. You need to file that. You need to have your court appointed attorney do work underneath them or sue him for negligence or report him to the bar. Report him to the bar. Now, Brandy Lee is saying something now. Let's see what she says. Our next court is the 27th, okay, of this month, right, Brandy? So they can place my grandson to a mental health hospital and school. You don't want that, I don't think, Brandy. You don't want that. You want your attorney not to do that. You still have parental rights. You still have educational and medical rights. You, the mother, can tell where your child goes. They have not proved that to you. Be very careful, Brandy. Be very, very careful. Brandy further says, I'm in Wyoming. That's right. She's in Wyoming. I got Montana, Wyoming. Yep, that is really good. We got Montana, Wyoming tonight. I think Wyoming is where Yellowstone is, right? 1893 and 1923, and then Yellowstone, the Dutton family. Betty says, we had in the courts. Why didn't you show it? Why did your court appointed attorney not show it, Betty, if you had it in the courts? You guys could have pointed out to the judge. All your attorney has to do is approach the bench, Your Honor. We disagree with what the social worker is saying. Here is the ICPC document that's good through March. You got to kick that court appointed attorney in the seat. He's trying to run you racket. Now I'm trying to help you guys. Everything you type in. Yes, Brandy. Okay, good. Good. You agree with me that, Brandy? Okay, now Brandy further says, by the way, Betty or Brandy, if you want to call in, you're perfectly welcome to call my number. If you don't have it, I'll put it up. I'm just trying to catch up with the messages. Okay, good. Okay. My mouse pointer takes ages to go across the screen. Feels like, I don't know what this virus is, but it's something that's messed up here. Okay. Wow. You guys are coming in so fast here. There's nothing wrong with being a grandmother, Brandy. For all you listeners out there, Vincent Davis has produced a guide. It's called a grandparent guide in California, but can use for other states. It's the steps of how to get your grandchildren back. It's the steps how to visit your grandchildren. It's the steps to have CPS stop ignoring the grandparents. It's only $9.99, but if you use my discount code of PACE50, that's all capital letters, PACE, P-A-C-E, the number 50, you get 50% off. It's $4.99. And to get that guide, all you do is call 888-888-6582. That's the law offices of Mr. Davis. And when you call in, Tell him that Bob Pace sent you, and when if you happen to speak to Mr. Davis, tell him that Bob Pace spoke to you. But you should try to get that guide there. So that's okay, Brandy. There's nothing wrong with being a grandparent. Yes, you do have rights, Brandy Lee. Grandparents do have rights. All you have to do is call me on the show and talk to Vincent Davis, and he will tell you you have the rights. I offer you a 15-minute free consultation with Mr. Davis if you call in on the phone or you're a guest on my show. That's a free 15-minute consultation. Betty's talked to Mr. Davis. So, Brandy, if you, yay, Yellowstone. I got it right. Wyoming is where Yellowstone is. I love that series. But I didn't like the way the first movie turned out, the 1893. That poor girl, I didn't like her to have to die in the end. She's in the 1923 season 1 and so forth. Her voice is, but it was tragic. It was tragic. Oh boy, my computer's acting up, and now I can't even. Oh boy. Okay. Good. You can ask for a continuance. And you can prove to court that the social worker is lying. You can prove to the court that the social worker lying. They do lie. They do lie. Social workers do lie. They'll look for anything to make an excuse. Hey, Margaret, you're the third person to call in tonight. That's great. Hi, Margaret. Good to hear from you. Oh boy, I hit escape, hit backspace, hit spacebar. Somehow I got this so I can still read the stuff there. So Margaret says hi, Bob, and hi back to Margaret, by the way, is from St. Louis. So we got Wyoming, Montana, and Missouri. I think we got 2 grandparents too, besides a mother. I think Margaret is just a mother. And I think right now, Betty and Brandy are grandparents. Okay, you have a call in to Vincent to call you. Well, I was trying to offer you a free call for Vincent to talk to you if you talk to me on my show. It's a trade-off. Because he'll charge normal hours there. I'm trying to help you out financially. If you call in to be a guest on my podcast or talk to you on my phone on speakerphone, you'll get a free 15-minute session with him. Also, if any of you want to talk longer than 15 minutes, want to talk 30 minutes, he's offering a special rate for $60 for that 30 minutes. $60 for 30 minutes he's offering. You can talk to him for a good 30 minutes. He's not a clock watcher. He's well needed to talk to. He's a real fighter with CPS. He's a kind man, and you'll like it there. But if you want to call in 888-888-6582 and talk to him, that's fine too. But it'll be at his rates, wherever his rates are. Now Betty says, "Thank you." Oh no. Betty says, maybe if you can do a factory reset on your computer, I'm not going back to when it's still performing right. Do what's called a factory, do a restoration. I don't know if that would work too. I'm confused, so I got to take it back to the computer guy. I've already paid him enough money. He needs to spend more time with his money. Okay, I see what's happened now is a lot of the shows are coming in there. Thank you, Eddie, for helping me out. I appreciate that. Um, almost caught up here. All the rooms are coming in again. I apologize for that because I have to filter through the room messages and your people. Okay, Brandon Lee is the next person up that said what Brandy Lee says. Yes, we did. And I text Grace. Oh, okay. Long if you got it worked out, Brandy Lee, long if you got it worked out. I'm just trying to save you money, you guys. I know how hard it is. I'm glad you text Grace. Okay, Brandon Lee. I was on a podcast you a couple times. Okay, good, good. I just don't want you to spend money, but Vincent will tell you about the grandparents do have rights. Excuse me a second. Hey, Robert, is this it for 4 days? No. I'll see you again. Come back tomorrow. Okay. All right. The 17th is fast approaching. Okay. I have family. I work out of my studio here, and I have family around. I wonder what was on my shirt, my white shirt, and what it is part of the hands. Hold on a second right now. Hold on 1 second. I got to talk to my son there. Okay, I'm back. I had to go silent for a second because I need to talk to my son. You see, we're all in here, and it's all about families. Families are the most important thing there is in life. And there's so many tragedies going in this world, but we want to keep our families intact. We want to be nice, respectful to our family members. Because we really care about families, you know. I've not a lawyer, but I'm a loving dad and I like to help out my family. I like to be known I was a good provider. I too was involved in CPS. It was terrible. They trafficked my children into foster care when they weren't in danger. And they brainwashed them and told them all kinds of stuff that wasn't true. The child protection system is what I call CPS. it's mandated by Congress to have a branch of social services protect their children from neglect and abuse. And the way they do it is they take layman calls and professional calls. Now, professional calls are usually pretty good, but it's the laymen that have a lot to desire. And unbeknownst to me, for 5 years, my in-laws were saying something wrong with our family every week about taking care of our children. This went on week after week for 5 years. If I knew that was going on, I would have nipped it in the butt. It's bad how lay people can really hurt you. Really did. Now, Betty said something here. See what Betty said. Yeah, we know you're a foster parent, Betty, and I don't mean to say that all foster parents are bad. I have met 4 social workers on here that have talked to my podcast. Betty's one of them. She is a foster parent and she does nothing but being a foster parent. A week ago, a mother and dad were killed in an auto accident, and she took on a 4-year-old boy that tragically was without a mother and father. And the boy is staying with Betty. Now, Betty's trying to help out his brother's child, who's her niece. Because she knows that CPS is corrupt. She knows that CPS lies. She knows they're going to take their children into foster care, but Betty likes to do foster care only. She likes to be a mother. She's not interested in adoption. She's one of those special foster people. So yes, Betty, I don't mean at all to say you're a bad foster parent. Not at all. Okay, see, I'm trying to read these messages. Okay, good. Brandy says, yeah, Grace, no, do it right now. Good. Good. I got it. What confused me is when these rooms come in and repeat themselves, they get mixed in with their they're a third time right now being reproduced. So I apologize. Okay, now I just spoke to Brandy. Now we have Margaret that sent a message. Almost caught up with you guys. Margaret says, I'm a grandmother, and Mr. Davis is fighting my case for my 2 granddaughters. Oh, God bless Vincent Davis. Not only has he got a case in Oklahoma, now he has a case in Missouri. He has a case in Northern California. He has a case in LA County in California, Orange County, California, Riverside, California, and San Bernardino. He is a busy man. 2 states and 4 counties. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, Margaret, you're lucky to have him. I had him fight for my 2 boys and my daughter. But my daughter is a tragic story, a very tragic story. Thank you, Brandy. And I know that Grace appreciates that. You know, she really loves her dad. Those people are such beautiful people there, and they love their mom and dad. I found something that was interesting. They don't let their men or women work past the age of 55. You have to mandatory retire in that country at 55. You're allowed to work after that date. I'd be in serious trouble because I need to find a job, a real job here. And so we have grandparents tonight. Brandy's a grandparent, Margaret's a grandparent, and Betty's a grandparent. Let's celebrate grandparents. I think grandparents are beautiful. Let's see what Brandy further says. That's your loss there. You guys are very kind in this room. Very nice, respectful. You guys take your time and you tell your story and answer your question. Now, for some of you that are new to the room or just coming in, I love messages from you. And when you text a message to me, make sure it pertains to CPS, either a comment or question. Also, please show your first name and the city or county you're from. And you're from another country, and yes, I have 20 countries right now that call in. I have Bangladesh and India. I have the Middle East. I have Africa. I have Europe. I have North America. I have South America. I have New Zealand and Australia. So that's a lot of countries, about 20 of them. 20 countries have either text or called in. Country code 27 is South Africa. I have 5 beautiful ladies from the West Cape on South Africa province. Really nice people. They call in and talk about it. One mother, Lika, her name is Lika, had her young daughter molested by a 38-year man that was gross what he did to her daughter. And the local police in that African nation don't do anything. It's so sad how corrupt people are around the world. But I'm here for everybody. I'm here for everybody. Make sure you hear that. Also, please tell me as much as you can about your case so we don't do ping pong ball back and forth. That's when you text messages. Now, if you want to be a guest on my podcast, all you have to do is write to my show producer. It's Grace at, oh boy, I just lost something here. It's at Grace at vincentwdavis.com. Now, all you have to do, and how did my tie get way over there? Jeez. I must have leaned or something there. Try to look presentable here. The chair I'm sitting in is too laid back, though. I need to have more straight back up there. So if you want to talk and you want to wait or you want to call in or something, you be a guest. And I can take up 9 of you. I can have a total of 10 people talking. I'd love to have you here talk about your case, and I can try to help you. I've been fighting CPS for 15 years, so I have a lot of experience. And what I know now, if I knew 15 years ago, I don't think my family would have been pulled apart, and I would not have lost my home. I'd still have my home today. It's a sad part when you lose your home and you lose your children. And then you're found out that you can't get a job because of your background. People put a stigma when you're involved in CPS. They say you're a bad person. And I saw so much atrocity in the child protection system. I saw my children get physically harmed and emotionally harmed in the shelters. You know, it's so unbelievable. Right now, I have 55 minutes. Where'd the time go? Jeez. Is that right time? No, I'm halfway through my show. I thought I was almost done my show. It was too quick. So email Grace, pick a show, morning, evening, Monday through Sunday. That's all you have to do. You write her. She'll send you a link on StreamYard. That's the application we use, and we broadcast on YouTube. And so the StreamYard is a real good application. You'll give you a link. And don't fret if you get knocked off because the link is still good. It's good for the entirety of that show that you signed up for. So please be a guest on my podcast. I love to see you. I love you to help out others. Remember, you just had to email Grace at vincentwdavis.com, and she will tell you everything you need to do and need to say. Lastly, I'm going to put my phone number up. When you see the phone number, that means you can call. And I gladly take calls. Now I use a application on the internet called Vonage. Vonage is a phone application. It uses the internet. It does streaming. So that's what you'd be calling me on. And that's a direct line to my office phone, which I carry. And if you call in, I'll put you on speaker, and that way you can talk about your case. And that will qualify, just like being a guest, of having a free 15-minute with Vista Davis. So all you do is call me at 626-698-0990. And we could talk on it. So it's open to you guys. It's open to you guys. So that's great. I think I've caught up with Betty and Brandy and Margaret on, I think I've answered all your questions or concerns. There's so much I've learned from the internet and so much I've learned from talking to you guys. I've talked to over 900 people, and I've been talking for 15 months. And as I say, I've talked to 20 countries and all 50 states, including Washington, D.C. CPS is bad. I imagine there's still good CPS out there, but they're far and few. They've discovered how much money is important to them. It's $1 trillion business. And it's just endless amount of money. The money is not monitored. It freely flows from the U.S. government to the state government, and from the state government to the county. It's all about the dollar. And it shouldn't be that way. It should not be that way. So my phone number is up. It's all welcome if you guys want to call in and talk about anything. I'm so happy that Betty told me the latest news, but I'm so happy that he disapproved and said something that's not true. That the ICPC had expired. And you said it wasn't until March. Now, Betty, you said something about both parents being terminated. I know about the daughter, his wife, not the daughter, but his wife is going to be terminated. But his rights should not be terminated. He's done nothing wrong. Being homeless is not against the law. Having no food is not against the law. Not only is the child protection system supposed to protect our children from neglect and abuse, they're supposed to help out all family members in need of food, shelter, clothing, transportation, medical, educational, and even find a job. CPS is supposed to do that. Don't let them tell you they can't do that. That's not true. Do you taste okay?
Yeah, I only have.
Well, that's all right. I'll eat the other half. You sure? I'll see you, son. Thank you. God bless you. Oh, I'm so lucky to have my boy. My older son still lives with me and trying to make it on his own, and I've helped him out. And he asked very humbly, could I have some food? I said, sure. So I gave him half my dinner. My family is, you guys, it's important, your family. You guys are family to me. Brandy and Betty and Margaret, you guys are family to me. Grace, you're also my family too. You're on this show here. Whether you realize it, I have a person that works very behind the scenes, and she makes my podcast so good. She really does work hard, and I'm so glad to have her back. I'm so glad to have her back. And also want to thank Vincent Davis again. Not only was he my attorney and helped me get my two boys back, but he also has been really helpful in other matters too. He works hard, giving a lot of his free time. His consultations, he'll do the 15 minutes for free if you talk on my show. Or if you want to pay $60, he'll do a 30-minute consultation. And if you want to talk longer than that and hire him, you just go to that 888-888-6582 number. Now, my number is there for you guys to call, and don't feel embarrassed. Nothing wrong or too silly of a question to ask. All you do is call 626-698 0990. Now, don't forget, there's a ticket if you want 30 minutes for $6. You go to the website, and you can do that. Now, I have about 15 minutes left. I was a little late coming on, so I'll make sure you guys get your full hour. One good news I heard today, or two good news, or three, is that the winds did not come up as they expected to. From 3 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon, they're supposed to be blowing hard, but they didn't. So that's a good sign. What worries me is the children of the families are displaced with no home. The same thing was happening to the families who are displaced in North Carolina. I had some of the calls come in on here and said they take away our children because we don't have a home for them. I have no idea. Well, no one's come up with the idea of providing a temporary housing in the form of a recreation vehicle. Can sleep 8 people if they wanted that. It depends on people. Or maybe how about an office trailer? Or maybe a mobile home. They can fly them in. The National Guard has helicopters. They can pick them up. And don't forget, those office trailers and mobile homes, some are come equipped with a kitchen and a bathroom. So if you have a 4-bedroom. So I want all those family members to think about that. If you're listening tonight in the fire area, clean your yard off. Get it all cleaned up. Get your driveway clean first. Get it so it's clean, and then have the utility companies, the electric, the gas, and the water, hook up temporary facilities to your RV or mobile home right on your driveway. And for the 6 months or a year it takes to rebuild your home, you can do that. You still live there, and you can make things grow again. You can correct the things that are bad and build a better and stronger home. I want all the people to do there. It was so hard for me to watch those Malibu homes that burned at the beach. Why in the world did they not use pumps to pump the seawater to put those homes out? Why did they not bring fireboats or military ships to put out the fires or barges? They could have done so much to save those homes along Malibu. Today they found a nice man that had lived in Malibu. He lived in an old red shack called the Crab Shack. And he's called Claw because his arms went inwards. He was a surfer like I am. He let people stay at his house all the time. When I drove by through Malibu, I always sold his home. Well, they're checking for cadavers, and he was found dead, trying to fight to save his home. So many people are found dead, still holding the hose. I'd probably do the same thing fighting to save my home. But they could have saved the home. They could have saved the homes. I know it's a difficult time to fight fire to fire, but I worry about the children getting picked up by CPS because they're going to say you don't have a home and that way you can't take care of your child. Being homeless is not against the law, okay? Being homeless is not against the law. Being poor is not against the law. Our country is slowly becoming a third world country. What is the definition of third world country? Is when you only have rich and poor. You have no middle class. Our middle class is dying out. In California, people are trying to live on $18,000 a year or $30,000 a year for a family of 5. There are firemen that make $18,000 a year. How can they afford to live on that and pay rent and all that stuff? That's nothing. 35 in California is nothing. Today they just raised tomatoes. Tomatoes last week were $1.25. A month ago they're 99 cents. Now they're $1.59. 29 cents more. Why are they raising these things? I'm starting to find a lot of the food is expired, so I'm buying it. When it's going to come due, I bought milk today expired, I bought meats expired. It doesn't mean the food's bad, but they give you a good discount, 50% off. But somehow greed in the food industry has taken hold. They don't need to raise their prices anymore. I did notice the head of lettuce has dropped. It's $2 a head of lettuce now. It was getting $3 or $4, but everything else is, gallon of milk, $5. $1 a pound for bananas. It's just, all these things is ridiculous. $2 a pound for grapefruit. Anyway, I'm digressing. I got to stick with CPS. But we need homes put for those people. That's an easy solution. FEMA could process the paperwork. FEMA could pay the RV dealers, the mobile home dealers, the office dealers. I know I worked in construction, and I can fit an office trailer in a day and have it functional in a day, have it delivered, and have all the utilities hooked up. So I have sewer, water, gas, and electric. Fully operational in a day. And they can clean off all those driveways and put an office trailer, a mobile home, or put an RV. I just don't know. There's so many RVs, so many mobile homes, and so many office trailers sitting collecting dust. But we can fly them in by helicopter and drop them. But every place can have a temporary housing for a year, and then you can rebuild your house. It's going to create a lot of jobs, for carpenters and masonry people and plumbers and electricians. It's going to create a lot of jobs. You got to look at the positive things. We've got to regroup. As soon as they do the damage assessment, everything. I know it's $180 billion, $200 billion. It's a lot of money. But I think temporary housing would be great and cheaper than putting them up in hotels or ARBs. Let me see where I left off. I got some more people here that have called in messages. Let me go back here. I think Margaret King was the last one. Let me see here. Yeah, Margaret King is the last one, I think. You see what she says. Oh, I already knew that, Margaret. I'm sorry. It's hard the way my mouse joints around. It doesn't leave me off. I do have a way of doing this. Escape, and then I move the cursor up. Okay, Brandon Lee has a new comment here. Yeah, I've already read that. Grace appreciates all you thinking about her. That's great. Margaret King says, what a blessing to have your eldest son there living with you when there's an open CPS case. They want to be nasty, not everybody who's living in the house. Yeah, I agree with you. You know, I have 6 children. My oldest is in his 40s. I have 2 girls in their 30s. They weren't touched. My 3 older children were not touched, but my younger children were. I have a son who's 25. He's 15 at the time that he was kidnapped by CPS. And my daughter was 12 at the time, and the social worker, kidnapped her permanently. She did one of the things is where she committed perjury and she retaliated on his parents. She had our daughter emancipate from the parents, means get divorced, because age 12 in California they can divorce their parents. She was also told to change her name. She also was told to seal her birth certificate, get a new birth certificate, get a new Social Security card so she could double dip from Social Security. She had her old Social Security card, a new one, and she's getting twice the money that she should have. And I don't know why I was paying out my money, because they were hitting her twice with the Social Security card, double doing. It's all my retirement from working. I'd already earned that money long time ago. Okay, we got someone new, I think. I don't know. I haven't seen NY. NYP, hello. I'm having a problem with my case with CPS. I need help. Welcome, NYP. Can you tell me? I assume you're from New York, maybe, but can you tell me the city or county and the state you're from and what your case is so we can help you? Welcome, a warm welcome. You're now part of the family. You can come in here all the time you want to. Margaret's one of my long standing family members. She's a mother and a grandmother. Yes, CPS is very intrusive. They want to know everything, even the color of her underwear. This thing about underwear, I never see it when they come and search a house. The first thing you do is they go to the girl's underwear drawer. I don't know if the guy or girl is into underwear or lingerie or something, but I think it's the most ridiculous things. That's why my rule number 3 is you never let them in the room or the house. You don't. It's your castle. It's for protection. It's for protection. All right, we have another message from New York here. Let's see what New York P is saying. CPS worker making allegations against me and husband, even create problems for the temporary placement, which is my mom. First of all, you need to tell your mom and yourself and your husband, do not talk to social workers unless it's through your attorney. And if you have a court appointed attorney, either tell him to perform or boot him out and get another court appointed attorney. Or tell him that you will file a negligence lawsuit against them for not performing. The problem with court appointed attorneys or public defenders is they're not the real deal. They are a criminal attorney. They're not a juvenile family law attorney or a family law attorney or dependency attorney. There's 3 parts of the puzzle to CPS. You have to have an attorney that knows how to fight in dependency law, that knows how to fight in family law, that knows how to fight in juvenile law. It's 3 components. It's very, very skilled. It's like doing open heart surgery when you fight CPS. So less you talk to them, the better you off on New York. Don't have your mom talk to them. Work through your attorney. If you got a court appointed attorney, make them work. They're lazy. They got a 30-person caseload and they're going to not have time. They're also paid by CPS. So try to get the real deal. Try to get the real deal. Oh, okay. Well, I thought with the name NY. Okay, so NYP is actually in California City, California. Okay, well, you need to have an attorney. What kind of attorney do you have, NYP? Kern County. Okay, that's the Northern California, Kern County. I know where that is. Okay. NYP says child abuse case and just going back and forth with the county council. My baby and I had 11 fractures. We waited for the expert. Nothing was ever done. You know, you don't want to wait for the county council. Now, you call them the county council. Are you talking about your attorney, the public defender, or the court appointed attorney? Or are you talking about the social worker who may have a county council? What do you mean by county council? And you said your baby had 11 fractures. That's serious. Do you have your own doctor check it out? Do you have your own medical report? You need to subpoena that doctor into court so that the doctor can prove or say what happened to the baby. That was not neglect or abuse. NYP, come on. We did the genetics test ourselves and approved our baby has a genetic disease, and they don't want to acknowledge the genetic specialist. What you do is the judge makes the final decision. You have your court-appointed attorney or public defender or your paid attorney to subpoena the genetics doctor or the specialist and have them come to court and tell them it's hearsay if you show a paperwork, but you got to bring them live. You got to bring them live. Then you need to bring the doctor who's talked about the injury. You need to subpoena the doctor and the genetics person. Okay, we have someone here from Margaret. I only got about 2 minutes, you guys. Did you hear about those 12 children from Indiana State that was taken all into custody? It was all over the news yesterday. I heard about it. I could not believe that 12 children were taken into custody. I need to know more information. No. Tonight I'm going to look at that. Okay, NYP says, yep, you didn't know that. I know. There's a lot of things you can learn on the show. Talking to me or talking to my attorney, you know, they can tell you so much. Ask the people in this room. Ask the people in this room. Okay, NYP says, this has been going on since July. Well, you got me now. I'll be here twice a day. So I'm in your family now, so I help you. I got to wrap this up. I got about a minute left here. I got to wrap this up. I don't want to. You're very welcome, NYP from California. Seems we have a good representation. Margaret has something more. CPS is coming with something new now, that my newborn had some deficiencies. She did not pass her for a month development checkup. Well, here's what you need to do. You got to make sure that your pediatrician is doing the wellness check and everything. Don't have CPS use their doctors. And CPS social workers are not clinical psychiatrists. They have to have a degree in that. They got to be in there. So be very careful of how reports are made. Hey, Chew Baby, I haven't heard from you today. Chew Baby, I'm going to end my show. Come again the next day, tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, you guys. All right, this is the last one I'm taking, Margaret, because I do have to go. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, have a good night, Margaret, from Missouri. Okay, I want to thank everybody here. Chew Baby, I'm sorry I had to cut you short. And Margaret, all right, I want to thank Chew Baby and Margaret. Margaret's from St. Louis, Missouri. And NYP is from California. And if I give the wrong locations, I'm sorry. But, and then we have Brandy Lee. And we have Betty from, Brandy Lee is from Wyoming and Betty is from Montana. And I hope I haven't left anybody else out here. I don't think we've seen Tessa tonight. We usually see Tessa and didn't either. Betty has been on, Brandy, and so forth. Well, I want to thank all of you. I want to also tell you, do not stop keeping fighting for your kids. Eventually, you'll get them back. Do not talk to social workers. Be very careful. Use your attorneys wisely. If you can't afford, a real attorney, then make that other attorney, the court appointed or public defender, work. Make them work, or maybe charge them, tell them you're threatened with negligence. Anyway, there'll be a brief message from Vincent Davis. Listen to it.